Not know my strengths when I was in school. In fact, before we were coming here, I just found a recommendation letter written by Ram Thakur sir when I passed out from school for various universities, and that clearly said that Vishakha is an accomplished actress and a public speaker. And now looking back, I feel he and ma'am knew, Sonia Thakur ma'am knew my strengths more than I did. And when it actually came to choosing these careers, I just went with the flow. I think there are certain things you're born with. I know I was born with a lot of bravado. I'm not scared of failure, and that's something I've inherited from my parents. But I'm also fearless, and I think that's again because of Sonia Thakur ma'am and Ram Thakur sir, because they made me participate in everything you can possibly imagine. I have participated under their tutelage in so many activities in school that made me fearless on stage. So now when it came to career choices, I was not prepared to be an actor. I had no formal training whatsoever.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. You were not trained as an actor.
Yes.
No godfather, no relation whatsoever with the film industry. Yet you have the courage to go out there and do it. Tell us about that.
So again, when I think my experience from DPS Ghaziabad is my only training for being an actor. When it came to even becoming a film producer, I think it just simply boils down to being brave. That's it. And I had a lot of support. I know a lot of people, and some of you probably are dreaming of becoming an actor. Some of you are probably thinking of becoming a YouTuber, because from what I know, 80% of the younger generation is now on either YouTube or is playing game, on screen.
Yes.
So I know a lot of you are thinking of doing that, but all that is possible only and only if you have great support, great family support. So yeah, and I have realized across that, and you have certain benchmarks and certain standards that you like to uphold. But when you become an entrepreneur or if you're a film producer, that is when the shift happens. That is when you're responsible for an organization, you're responsible for a team, you're responsible for team morale. And over the years I've realized that, when I actually became a tech entrepreneur, I thought I was at a disadvantage because there was a lot of bias. People would ask, does she even know if she's an actor? What does she know? Right?
Okay, one of the things that I've observed was that Vishakha was really happy when she was escorted up here from somebody who was the head of the cultural department, the cultural head.
Yeah.
And that jogged my memory a little bit to remember that at DPS Ghaziabad, you were the cultural captain as well.
Yes.
How has that sort of the experience there, the learnings there, helped you in your entrepreneurial career, in whatever that you've done, especially from the point of view of leadership?
So, when I was in the 9th standard, we had this teacher called Manoj Sharma sir. Thakur sir would remember him. He's unfortunately no more. But Manoj Sharma sir one day stopped me, and it's funny how teachers know your strengths and you don't because you're a kid. But I remember Manoj Sharma sir stopped me with that charge. You're the cultural captain, but you don't have to listen to us teachers. You decide. They would just say, okay, these are the competitions that are going to happen. But we were in charge. I would go to the selections. Choose the best candidate for participating in various competitions. I think all of that has helped me identify talent, helped me in team building exercises in my own organizations. Again, has also helped me take a back seat when required. Because leadership is not always about being in the front. It's also about supporting and just taking that back seat and letting somebody else shine. So I think that was probably the first time when I got actually trained for the larger role in my life.
Let's talk to the women in the house here, the girls, the ladies. What advice would you give them when they embark now into their careers, into whatever they will be doing, including leadership roles?
Some might not agree, but for the women out here, I would say don't be modest. Humility is great, but if you've achieved something, be your own self-advocate. You have to practice that, because I've realized, and it's just I've noticed the difference. And I'm not trying to be again biased against the gentlemen here, but it's by default. I think it's a DNA thing. If a man achieves, say, something, he will amplify it and glorify it. But women achieve something, they usually underplay it because they're supposed to be congenial. And to the women out here, especially in today's day and age, please don't be modest. Own everything that you've achieved. Because if you don't shine the spotlight on yourself, nobody else will. So you just have to be a little more aggressive, I would say. Because I've learned by falling multiple times, and now I just speak about my achievements without. Is it because you want external validation, or is it because that brings you joy? And I know what I'm saying will probably not make much sense to you now, hopefully, who knows, 10, 20 years down the line. Who knows, for some of you might remember my words, but just remember, as every time you do something for external validation, you know, oh, you know, I'm going to put out this post on social media and I'm going to get these 1,000 likes, right? You're giving the power to somebody else for your happiness. And I think if you can find that difference, you know, that is when you would have achieved a good balance. Because mental health is about finding joy inside, being at peace. And again, I feel these are heavy words that I'm using with kids who are yet to explore life. But all I can say is, be very, very clear. You know, people, at least my generation, has experienced the glorification of the hustle culture. I have worked 18 hours a day. I have worked, when I was an actor, I have jumped from filming 24 hours on Pukre, traveling to Chennai, shooting for 18 hours for my Tamil film, then traveling to Hyderabad, shooting for my other film, and this 10 years ago, shooting for my other film for 12 hours. That is bad now. But I think it simply boils down to having the ability to constantly learn. I always, every time I go to these panels and I have these big these experts from the industry there, and I have my own humble views that I'm presenting, I go with a lot of fearlessness because I tell them straight away, I don't know anything. I'm here with my perspective of a layperson who understands what you're doing. And for some reason, I think the common sense just speaks to people, and I'm able to talk. But I think it's just this attitude of always knowing that you don't know everything, the curiosity and the willingness to learn. You are never too big to not learn again, you know. And I'm a very curious person. I mean, it's like, I don't know, if I speak to one of you and you mention some subject, I will immediately go back home and I'll start reading on that. So I think that has helped me immensely. And yeah, I think just learning, be a learner all your life. Yes, that is really helpful. And of course, driven. And this could be a little problematic because I was also driven by the motivation to prove everybody wrong that she doesn't know. You know, and that's a bit problematic because then you're giving again the power to somebody else. But sometimes if done right, that can be a great way.
Fantastic. Now give me the microphone. So we're going to. This is not a classroom, so this is life experiences. You may never get the opportunity to be in the midst of someone as humble and talented as Vishakha Singh is. So I'd love you people to interact and ask questions. Who wants to ask a question? Just raise your hand. I'll be here with my microphone for you. I love the backbenchers because that's where I used to sit normally. Backbenchers, any questions?
Please don't be shy. Trust me. Ask all the wrong questions.
This is the fun part. Come on. Who's going to ask a question?
You want to talk about films? We can do that. You want to talk about tech? We can do that. We can talk about sports. We can talk about teachers.
Vishakha's just been shooting in Srinagar. Hush, hush, nobody knows that. So yeah, she's going to be making an amazing piece of content. Yeah, there you go.
I'm Swarnim Sharma from class 9A.
Hi.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So, ma'am, as an entrepreneur, when you work on some project, where do you think, as you said, you're not worried about being failed? So, do you have that fear that will I succeed, or you just go with the flow?
So, you know, there is a lot at stake. You have raised investments, people have put in money in your company, right? You have to show them profits. So you can't be whimsical about it, मेरा जो मन करेगा मैं वही करूँगी, right? There is pressure for sure, but you have to be extremely cognizant and aware of the fact that there is a huge part or huge chance that you will fail. And let me tell you, everybody here, and I'm sure the teachers and principals, everybody would agree, life is 95% failure. 95% failure. Okay? That doesn't make life sad. It will happen, but these failures, I mean, I just keep thinking, what is the worst you'll fail now? Kya ho jayega? It's not the end of the world. You'll rise up again. That's it. That is it. I think the moment you get the fear of failure out, you're sorted. You will rise again and again, because failing is fine. You know, failing again and again by doing the same mistake is not, it cannot be excused. You have to fail forward. You have to learn from your mistakes and not repeat those mistakes. So, I'm not scared of failure. Honestly, I'm not, because you know, when I was an actor, we would get written off. I did a Kannada film, and one of the reviews actually said, "Who is this Vishakha Singh? Isko acting nahi aati, she doesn't look good," and the film was, it bombed, right? Now that doesn't change who I am. I know I'm smart. I know I'm intelligent. I know I can act. So I think you have to be extremely aware of the fact that failure is part and parcel of life, and somebody else's opinion, information at your hand. And so many new apps that have come, you know, people have realized that there is a lot of potential and you don't need to just stick to one profession, so to say. And in fact, your generation in your lifetime is going to experience as many as 7 different careers. 7. Now, when I started off as an actor that was not on the radar. I got opportunities, I took those opportunities, and one of my motto in life has always been, whether you're prepared or not, if an opportunity shows up, take it. Because if you succeed, great. If you fail, doesn't matter. But at least you will not regret, letting that opportunity go. Becoming a film producer was the natural progression from being an actor. Because as an actor, I was the puppet. My directors would tell me what to do, the script, etc. As I progressed in the acting world, I realized that the kind of roles that I wanted to do weren't really coming up my way, and the kind of films I identify were not being made. So I started producing independent films, films around, I produced a film called Peddlers, which starred Nimrat Kaur and Bhushan Devaya, etc. Then that was about immigrants. I did another film called Harampur, which was set in the village of Gujarat, which had Nawazuddin Siddiqui. So I started producing these independent films. So this was still a natural progression. I think what even took me by surprise was my move into the startup ecosystem. And that also, I think, God has been kind, because the opportunity, it came to me in a way that I had these kids, college kids, who actually reached out to me, who said they wanted me to endorse an app. And that's how my interest started. And I started studying their app. And I found it so interesting that I decided to become their co-founder. That's how my journey started. So I think it wasn't a conscious move, it was an opportunity that came my way. And I very organically became a part of it, and then took the lead, and then, took it 2 steps ahead, and then formed another company that did really well. So it has been very organic, and that is what life will always show to you. Nothing radical will happen. Nothing time you give to your phone or exposure to screens will cause depression. And what will take away that depression? Outdoor time, meeting with friends, just doing fun activities, all of that will help you that. So easier said than done. I hope your parents are strict with you, not giving you the phones for longer hours, but that is something you will have to consciously decide. Because time is limited here, X amount of time here. You will very, very consciously have to decide, where am I going to put this time into? Where will I invest this time? By all means, be on the phone. Sometimes it's great fun, but time it. If you can time that to maybe 60 minutes or 45 minutes, that'll be great.
Thank you for your
Thank
questions.
you.
We're going to take a couple of more questions, because that's all the time that we have for. So this is your moment. Ask a question, give me your hand, and I will come with the microphone to you. 2 hands, time for 2 questions. Perfect. Okay, come ahead a little bit. Let's get you in here, closer to the stage whilst you ask the question. Say your name and then go ahead.
My question is through your journey to becoming what you are doing right now, I want to ask, there are so many breakdowns that sometimes it feel like that it's just not going well. So how do you cope up with that? And sometimes there are breakdowns and failures. How do you cope up with that?
So I'll tell you, in 2008, I remember, 2009, I was supposed to do a Telugu film. There was a very cute story about this big, overweight person, who goes back to his village. And it's not a typical hero-heroine film. And I was cast for the film, and the last minute I realized I was replaced. I remember breaking down and crying my heart out. Okay, I don't know if I should share it, and I think Thakur sir may have forgotten it. Okay? And it's not one of my proud moments, but I've learned from it. I have failed and I've been discouraged. And I'll give you an example. I was the cultural captain of my school. And when you're young, you enjoy you bask in the glory, right? Because sir and ma'am have given me such amazing platform to perform. I was quite a popular kid in school. That did have an effect on my studies. That did. And you have to find that right balance. I got lucky because my career choices were not dependent on being an engineer or doctor, because that requires a lot of preparation. I remember in class 12, and I don't know how the system is now. I did fairly well in all the subjects when the board results came out. And I was Vishakha Singh, the popular kid. Teachers loved me, my juniors loved me, I had the best of friends, I was the cultural captain. And I remember how lax I was during my board exams, and that is something I hope you all learn a lesson from. I did well in all my subjects. All my subjects. I still remember my best friend went to the school to get my results, and she called me saying, "Result acha nahi aaya." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she starts off with, "You've got 85 in English." I was like, "Ah, that's good." "You've got 86 in economics." I was like, "Oh, that's great." And I remember all these numbers. And then she said, "Physics is 70 kuch hai." I was like, "Okay." "Chemistry is 74." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Maths?" Wait for this. "Maths?" She said, 18. I was like, "What? What do you mean 18? What do you mean by that?" Because I have never in my life flunked an exam. Never. And she said, "It's 18. And I was just stunned. And my sister is like, "I told you not to participate in so many events." Now look at this. The arrogance of that age. I will not give my paper for reevaluation. I should have done that. Then I went to give the exam again. We call it compartment exam. I go to give the exam at the prime of your health to be pursuing that. I don't know you well enough. I don't know if you're an actor also. If you act in plays, you do, right? Because देखते मैंने कहा ये तो actor है. Literally, an actor will always make out another actor, and you have the potential. And the lines are blurred now. Today, if you take sports and if you're really good at it, pursue that. Your generation has YouTube and all these fantastic apps at your fingertips. Explore that. And just ensure that you time it, you give it time. That for everything that you are pursuing, you give it 5 years, 10 years. And if you face success there, or if you experience success there, then you replicate that. But trust me, the world is your oyster. You can do all of it. Just don't get distracted. See where your maximum strengths are and just focus on that first, and then move on to the other stuff.